The contract means being sent to a third party. Okay.
All right, we're live.
All right. Let me just let my delay go. Let me turn the volume down on this thing too. All right, it's off.
People should start filing in there. Oh, I don't know why my AI note taker wants to come in the meeting. I forgot I got that on. I'm like, dude, what the fuck I got it? Okay.
I don't know if there's a delay on this, but there we go. Oh yeah, you're on there. I can see you. Oh, there I am. We gotta move to the other screen.
What do you mean?
We're uh we're toggling back and forth.
Oh, okay. Well, that's only because it's two of us. I can't do,
Really?
yeah. 'Cause if it was,
Yeah, I forgot. I need to lock my screen so I can just read comments and not look at myself.
anybody else trying to come on?
I don't know. Oh, welcome in, Matt.
We have Dr. Friedel here. You want me to put him in now?
Uh, we told him that we would get him up at right at 8 o'clock. I just want to
Uh,
make sure we get Rab and
where, can you text them and see where they're at?
yeah. They may be having a bit too much fun over on TikTok. Let's go. We got 2 people in. That's got to be me and Matt. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I know. I wish I could have been in Tampa. That would have been a great time,
Who's that?
Matt.
I got Ernie up here. Ernie!
Biggie, where you hiding?
See, now I can make it all us on the screen.
All right. And I'm going to block my computer screen so I can't look at myself and stare. I'm just gonna, I'm telling you, it's that thing where I like instead of reading the comments, I'm just standing there, I'm sitting there looking at myself.
So you can't see how much of a delay there actually is.
That's exactly what it is. I keep looking at the delay.
So we had about 10 people over on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Where's Robert?
He said he had to do something real quick and then he should be here.
Okay. All right. Well, how you guys doing?
I'm Gucci.
Doing good. Had my first consultation today, got some photos taken, so
Oh, there you go.
now I just to
Are
wait
they
to get back from the doctor.
are they gonna leak your nudes? Is that what they're gonna
They're gonna leak my nudes? Yeah, right, probably.
do?
Ain't no one want to see that flab of skin. It's not pretty looking.
No. I'm sure my flapper skin's not pretty either, so.
I'm just lucky I'm all torso, so it doesn't fucking look as bad as it probably actually is.
No, I think that'll be the goal for next year. I'm gonna put off on plastics. I canceled that consultation at
Yeah.
the beginning of the month and I'm gonna put it off. I'm gonna concentrate on getting myself back to where I was. So
What else I
the
got
the,
waiting?
the, the good thing is at the beginning of the month when we went for our first show, this shirt had gotten tight on me. And it is a little loose on me now, which is kind of cool. So, kind of happy about that.
That's what's up.
Well, I think right at the end of the holiday season, I think like I was just, I don't know if I was just bloated out or whatever, but like this shirt did not fit the way it did. I'm like, whoa, I gained some weight. So, it's nice now though. I don't feel like I'm gonna pop a button right now.
Nice.
Let's see.
It's all them stairs you've been working on.
The stairs, I'm working out. I've worked out, working out almost every single day. I've only had, I mean, this month I might have taken. I don't feel like I'm gonna pop a button right 3 or 4 days. Oh, who's echoing? Oh, someone's got earbuds in. That's what it is.
Is that better?
Yeah. So you take your vitamin yet?
Yes, I just had my
I did.
cap.
All right. Rab, I'm going with these are the strawberry daiquiri mocktail ones. I finally got through the all the gin and tonic ones.
Oh, that was painful, wasn't it? But it was all right, right?
No, actually, you know what? I wasn't. I wasn't offended by it. I thought it was pretty good.
I think they're pretty good.
Yeah,
They're definitely gin and tonic, 100%.
yeah. It definitely gives you the impression of gin and tonic. Yeah,
Hmm.
I didn't mind.
We got to have another meetup. I'm all out.
JBY. Matt's talking about a men's
I'm
meetup
all
with
out.
JBY. You're all out.
I'm all out.
Wow.
You didn't pre-order?
What's up?
You didn't
No,
pre-order?
see, I'm trying to be nice. I got a full bag of the chocolate calciums sitting in my bedroom, but so someone likes those a lot. So that was going to be what part of her gift for Valentine's Day was that bag.
Mm,
But they're just sitting there staring at me.
yeah.
Well,
Dude. Well, women love their chocolate.
yeah, they do. And don't forget that, you could always go to ProCare and they have the subscription program, and you
Yeah.
could just easily just order it and then just have it delivered every single month, and you don't even have to think about it.
Nice.
You'll never run out.
All right, guys, we should start.
Yep. Let's
All
go.
right.
Make it happen.
Made me up.
All right. It is 8
Who's
o'clock.
starting?
It's 8 o'clock. Welcome to the Barry Mill Experience. It is 8 p.m. Eastern here on the East Coast. Don't forget that that JBY voting starts on February 1st. So on this Saturday, you can start voting for all of the categories. All of you boys here on the panel tonight will be nominated individually in multiple categories. And don't forget that BME is up for bariatric rock star for best podcast. So don't forget, throw as many votes as you can in for us. And don't forget that our sister chat, Talk Barry to Me with VSG Bestie, is also up for bariatric podcast Rockstar. And she is live every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific. But yeah, how are we doing today, gentlemen?
Good.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't forget that we have mental health shop talk directly after BME tonight. So that is the change, and I know that I let a few people know last night that reached out and said, "Where is mental health shop talk?" So I had to navigate them that we are live with mental health shop talk on Zoom directly after tonight's podcast. So if you guys aren't aware of that, just again, you guys can DM us. They were looking for the Slack app. I said that we had temporarily taken that offline. We have multiple chats where everyone is connecting in different places right now. So
Yeah, I figured that most of the people would go either to Instagram where Bariatric Bro has the Bariatric Men's group chat there, or they would go to Talk Barry to Me. She has a space for men in there as well. So again, there's multiple places. Also able to still reach out to us individually if you guys need support or need guidance throughout this process.
yeah.
Absolutely. Matt, I saw you in the comments. You asked if it was a men's meetup at JBY. JBY is the Just Be You Awards. It's a bariatric award ceremony put together by the girls there at Our Sleep Podcast. They put together an award ceremony for those of us in the bariatric community to celebrate each other. That's going on April 12th in St. Louis, Missouri. If you want information for that, the link is in the bio. As far as men's meetup goes, Corby, I know, is working on putting some men's meetups together along with Bariatric Society and Barry Nation. Am I assuming so, Corby, or is that the plan?
Yeah, I'll be doing something in Dallas in August.
Yeah. There
All
you
right.
go.
And let's see. Speaking of, are we toggling still?
No, everybody's
No.
on the same page.
Okay. All right. So speaking of JBY, we actually have on tonight's show one of the sponsors for the JBY Awards for Surgical Associates of Bayonet Point in Tampa. We have Dr. Fridley with us tonight. So we're excited about that. We had a great conversation the other day, and we're looking forward to sharing all of this with you guys tonight.
Mhm.
All right. Is he in
Yeah,
the
it's a
waiting room? You want
pleasure
to
to
bring him
have
up?
Dr.
Yeah,
Fridley with us.
yeah, he is here.
All right. If you want to bring him up, let's bring him up.
He's it.
Just did. Yeah, he's here.
All
Dr.
right.
Fridley.
I'm still toggling on my side.
Yeah. Hey, Dr.
Okay.
Fridley, how you doing? Welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
So how was your day today? Good to go? Busy or what?
Yeah, busy.
Yeah, good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
We love to see the
So,
big Stanley Cup there.
so for our viewers and those in the comments, if you'd like to introduce yourself, we'd love you to do so.
You want me to go ahead and introduce myself?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm Dr. Fridley. I'm the general and bariatric surgeon based out of Tampa, pretty much Tampa, Florida, just north of there. And been doing this for about 10 years. Got a lot of history with the military and got me interested in medicine, and then medicine career has taken off in the realm of bariatrics, which I didn't expect to be in, but found a passion for it, and I keep thriving with it.
What would you say is your biggest like passion about like how you got into bariatric surgery and stuff? Like what was your why as to why you wanted to do bariatric surgery in the first place?
I think it was because of the patients. Whenever I was in training, I was originally thinking I was going to be a trauma surgeon, but then I actually got bored of that, and then started getting into minimally invasive surgery. And then some of my predecessors, my teachers and attendings, I started recognizing some of the general surgeons were just kind of angry all the time, little grouches. And then the couple of bariatric surgeons that I got in with to kind of learn about the robot and learn about minimally invasive techniques, they were always just had a better, nicer disposition, and I had to think to myself, there's got to be a reason why. And it wasn't until I actually started attending the clinic that it became apparent that it wasn't the surgeon, it was the patients that were the underlying reason why. And it was because of when you're able to have such a profound effect on someone's life, such as bariatric surgery, and it's always for the positive, then that just does something for you. It really does make you go into work with a smile on your face because you're actually having a good change. I save lives every day, whether it's educating patients or whether it's removing someone's cancer from a colon or anywhere else for that matter. But it's really to be a part of the journey in bariatrics and really help guide people along. That's where I find the most reward.
Yeah.
Now there are multitudes of bariatric facilities out there and things like that. What makes you guys special? What makes you different than any other facility out there that someone can go to that may be different prices and things like that? What makes you special? What makes us want to go to you?
Yeah, I'm not trying to say my program or me. I'm just a humble human being that does this surgery. There's a ton of very talented surgeons all over the US and world for that matter. And every program is different, but I can say one of the things that I try to provide for my patients is to make sure that the experience is very patient centered, and so that you don't feel like a number. And that's the key is when you come in that everything is tailored to you, whether it be the surgery that's decided upon or whether it be the nutritional coachings, everything. It should be tailored to you because this is your journey. We're just a minor part in it. We might be a catalyst in it, but it really has to be catered for the patient. And when you step foot in the office, or even if you do a televisit, stuff like that, you're going to get to know that you're not just a number. You're coming in, you're going to see me multiple times. You're going to see my nurse practitioner multiple times. And that's both before and after surgery. So the whole time that you're there, you really understand or get the feeling that, you're not alone in this. You never were and you never will be. And that comfort is what I want to give to my patients, and so that they can be successful. Because when you think you're alone, you start to regress and you're not going to go get the help you need. And if you can't feel comfortable talking to your surgeon about the problems that you're going through, then who are you going to talk to? It might be the wrong source of information. So I'd much rather you have the confidence and know that I'm not going to judge, but I'm just going to guide you in the right direction. So that's what you're going to get with us.
Why not, I understand like having a surgical center, but why not a big hospital where you could have just done all that work at a big hospital? Why open a surgical center?
So everything's done out of my office, and the reason being is after being employed by multiple hospital systems, what I found was that administrations really get in the way. And we like to think that administrations will work with us. But they make it into a business. Bariatric surgery does bring in the hospital in significant amounts of money, and that might be changing through the years. So what happens when it changes and it's not as lucrative, or when these surgeries start becoming outpatient designations, so where they're not going to get as much money from each procedure? So does that mean they're not going to care as much about it? So I didn't want to have that variability in support. So I figured, well, I can take it on myself, bring an outpatient, bring it all into the office, and that way I can control it better and have the same quality output, irregardless of the administration's commitment to it.
Which is
So
great.
let's scale back a little bit. Sorry to interrupt you, E.
No, you're right.
I'm we all had the surgery. We knew what surgery we had to go through with our team. We discussed that with us, so on and so forth. And there's different reasons why there's different procedures. Can you touch on that? Why that is, and what type of bariatric surgeries that your practice offers? How do you determine the best procedure for a patient?
That's a very good question. I get that one a lot, and it really comes down to the patient. So some patients come in, they have, intimate knowledge about what they like, what they want, and they've done research. I've had patients come in and says, I've researched you to death and this is what I want. And it's great and have that background, but you have to understand the whole picture. Are we doing this for straight weight loss? Are we doing this for metabolic disease that's going on? What is your home life like? What is your work life like? And are you sleeping enough? Is there a lot of psychological trauma going on? Because these are ways that you can sabotage yourself with one surgery versus another. And how much weight do we really need to lose? So all of those go into the decision making of which procedure. Now, I classically do the sleeve gastrectomy, the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, and I do SADIs, and have been trained in that. As well as, for those who don't have the BMI requirements, we do offer endobariatrics, such as endoscopic sleeve gastrectomies, as well as endogastric ballooning. So it's a wide, and medications for that matter, for those who just aren't interested in the surgical aspect. So we offer everything in the clinic because we wanted to really be totally inclusive in a one-stop shop for our patients. But it really comes down to is what is their overall health, and what are they looking to accomplish, and then deciding from there what's going to be the best surgery that's going to get them there, but keep them safe.
Okay. What is your goal specifically for the patient, as far as what you want to see for them from a year from their surgery date?
It depends. I don't come in with any goals for patients. I don't have goal weights. I don't keep those at all. It really depends on what their goals are. Like, what do they want to get out of it? So if they come in, this is like, hey, I really want to lose 20 pounds and fit it in my wedding dress. It's like, okay, well, let's start with some, GLP-1 medications, and we can get you there without surgery. But then it gets other people as, they tell me, I just really want to spend time with my daughters. Like they're 7 and 10 years old, and I don't want to be out of breath when running around with them whenever they're a little bit older. And so that to me is their goal. Now, is that 100 pounds down or 150 pounds down? It depends. Some of them want to be down medications, but there is no set goal for every one of them. I want them to, at the end of a year, be able to say that they were glad they did it and that they would do it again. And then that they feel comfortable coming back when they're struggling in any facet. And then also that they would spread the word to let others know that it's a good choice because, I think we mentioned before, that it takes too long for patients to get into the clinic. They have so many years that they go through to get the confidence to actually go seek the proper treatment.
Yeah, and I could kind of vouch for that one too. It took me 2 years to be able to end up having my surgery because when I went first seeked help for this, I was told that before they would even be help me that I had to lose 100 pounds prior to even being considered for surgery. So what kind of support do you guys give people who may need to lose some weight to be able to have your surgery, or do you guys even require people to be a certain weight to have your surgeries?
No, so we don't have a set weight loss parameter. I think that just restricts patients and actually causes a mental barrier because when you tell someone like, "Hey, you got to lose 100 pounds before we can do the surgery." Okay, well, what if you only lose 40? What did you actually do to that patient? This is you actually set them up for a psychological failure because now they think to themselves, well, I'm a failure. I didn't get to 100 pounds. Why am I trying this? Because so mentally you're already starting in that decline right off the bat. And so I don't do that. What we offer is a way for them to start working on their behaviors, and the weight takes care of itself. So I'm more interested in like how are you doing in the months before surgery, understanding your own behaviors, understanding your own psychology, or why do you eat the way you eat, the volume that you eat, and when you're eating. And then if you can start answering those questions on your own before surgery, you're way ahead of the game because then you're becoming more and more self-aware. Because then someone who is self-aware will be able to self-regulate afterwards. Has nothing to do with the weight loss beforehand. It's more of the psychology. And so for the what we offer is that we have medications that we can give if we're concerned about their weight or concerned about health issues. Sometimes we put a barrier on there because of the CT scanner in the hospital may have like a weight limit of like 650 pounds. So we try to say, hey, let's get you a little bit below that so that it's safe in case anything happens. We can still scan you while you're there. Um, and sometimes if we do that, we can do diet, exercise, education, maybe some medications on top of that to assist with that. But there's never a set number for any patient. Everything is tailored for the patient, but the goal is for them to really put that mirror in front of them and really start to self-educate themselves on themselves.
Can bariatric surgery help with conditions like diabetes and sleep apnea? And if so, how?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, the diabetes and sleep apnea, the two different mechanisms that you're losing it, but with diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes, with the excess fat that you have, you're basically becoming resistant to the insulin in your body. And so by decreasing the actual adipose in your system and getting rid of that, your insulin sensitivity starts to increase and the insulin starts working better in the cells. And then with that, all the risk factors downstream with the heart disease, the kidney disease, the neuropathy, everything else starts to fade away because the sugar levels are now regulated. The cells are working at the cellular level are working better and more efficiently. And then when it comes to sleep apnea, the sleep apnea is has many different effects, whether it's central or otherwise, but it helps with that because of the weight loss itself. Is think about when you're laying down, is the weight of the chest and the subcutaneous tissues on top of the chest makes it harder for it to rise and create that negative suction to pull air in. And on top of that, inside the oral pharynx is that soft tissue that's there, and it has just a little bit of extra fat and just redundant tissue that starts to thin out and be taken away with that excess weight loss. So the air movement becomes easier, deeper, and also with less restriction. And so then the snoring goes away, the sleep, and then with the snoring going away, people are sleeping better. Sleeping better means your circadian rhythm gets better, which means that your cortisol levels will be better, which also goes back to help the diabetes. So it's all interconnected. And that's what metabolic disease is all about. And why obesity is a disease that we had. It's not something that you fix one day. It's a constant disease that you have to work at. But yeah, it's been widely proven that with diabetes, it's been extremely helpful with the control of that type 2, and then with sleep apnea.
So post-operative care in your facility, what are the things that are do you offer for your patients after they've had surgery? Are there things that they need to achieve during that first year? Are there like how many checkups do they get, or is it just like thank you for coming to my surgical center and have a good life?
Here goes this little book for you to
Uh,
read.
yeah. No, like I said, the whole point is to not feel like you're a number and have the comfort. So, post-operative, we see them pretty frequently. So you're 2 weeks post-op, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, and then annually thereafter. And then usually after the third month is when we're starting to check lab values. We'll check vitamin panel and full lab panel, metabolic panel, so that we're making sure we're not missing any vitamin deficiencies, making sure we're not missing any anemias or anything like that, and also to follow how the diabetes is being controlled. And so, an annual checkup is just good, not only to just get the weight, make sure you're not having weight regain, but also to have the access to the psychology aspect. So in the clinic, we are partnered with many psychologists, and then also we have a nutritionist and dietitian in the office who can assist with, hey, I really I've been trying this diet, it's really not working. And I'm just struggling to kind of get that little extra weight off, or hey, I feel the weight's coming back on and I'm 2 years out. Like, what can I do? And we're not talking about new surgery, but we can just talk about, okay, well, what does your diet look right now? Let's just tweak that a little bit and then move forward. So they have access to all of the support, including the support groups, which, there's so many different types of support groups. There's the ones which are hospital based, there's ones that are, based out of social media, and even just community-based ones where when we know of it, we broadcast it to them so that they can gain access to it, so that they have, a community to go to. And like you guys here, you have a community that you're providing for and getting that education out there and comfort for those who are in the post-operative phase or even the pre-operative phase. But everything that we have for our patients is just designed to help them feel comfortable all along the journey, be accessible for them, and then just support them, just celebrate their victories and walk with them the entire way. We just celebrated our first gala, which was something I've been wanting to do on an annual basis. Is to say every once a year we just put it together and say, hey, if you've had bariatric surgery, come out, enjoy some music, some food, and some good dancing. We had a couple people on the dance floor. They were, 3 days out from surgery, and they're dressed up to the hilt and dancing, and it's great. But they didn't even know that their neighbor 3 doors down is also a patient of mine. And oh, now we can go walking together. Oh, now we can go do this together or hang out because now they have that camaraderie or that connection now. So it's about being accessible is the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
feel?
amazing.
Oh, go ahead, Tony.
No. I was gonna say that's amazing. Like, how many places do you know like actually have like a full gala for for their patients, just to celebrate like the accomplishments that they have and just to find connections. I mean that I'm still waiting for my gala at my hospital. I haven't seen that.
It's one of those things that with the benefit of being not at one facility is that I can actually, affect change and just basically I want to do something, I can just do it myself.
Yeah.
And that's what we decided to do is, we're lucky to have one of the hospitals that we work with who was very supportive and was assisting us in facilitating that. But it turned out great. We filled a room over 200 people had a nice DJ, and had a great time. But it's all for the patients. I mean, it's they loved it and they look forward to it. But it lets them know that they're a part of something bigger than just a number at some clinic.
Yeah.
And I think we're looking to do something in the summertime where it's just like a picnic outing or something like that, and everybody can just show up and go for a walk and then on the nature trails in the area, and just hang out and just be normal.
Now, question for you. How much protein is too much protein? All the time on this community, I hear numbers thrown out there left and right. I hear 60, I hear 80, I hear 100, I hear 200. Someone who's had RNY almost 2 years ago, how much protein is too much protein? Because that's one thing I'm always confused about.
You know, it depends. That's a hard question to answer because the protein recommendations are for the healthy adult that we know from the 1950s when we started doing nutritional studies on military men after World War II, and we decided that we had so many men in our ranks that we needed to turn them into test subjects instead of soldiers. But to answer that question, it really depends on what is your ideal body weight, height, weight, and then from that, you can look at that you have ratios where it's like 1.5 kilogram or milligrams per or grams per kilogram, I think it is. And so with that, if you're saying that your body weight should be 100 kilograms and maybe you need to be at 150 grams is what you should be at is maximum, but in between that rate. So typically for the Roux-en-Y or for all bariatrics, we tell our patients that we really want you to be at least between 80 and 100. And there's those who go above. But then you look at the people who go above and you start looking at their actual body composition. And when I look at their body composition and I start seeing that, your lean muscle mass is actually decreasing over this time frame that you've been post-surgery, then I'm going to start recommending that we actually increase your amino acids or your protein intake so that we don't have loss of lean muscle mass. But that's a dynamic thing. So I can't tell you that 100 is your number or 50 is your number. It is a dynamic thing where you have to have this watch to see how much are you actually absorbing. Because if you're taking in 80 and you're absorbing all 80, but you're still becoming deficient in your lean muscle mass, or it's constantly decreasing every time you're coming to the clinic, I'm going to say 80 is not enough. We need to go to 100. Or if you're at 100 and it's, now you're starting to get kidney disease or other things like that, then it's like, okay, maybe we're doing too much protein and your kidneys are having trouble filtering it out. Maybe we need to back it down. Your protein stores are good according to your blood work. So it really depends. And that's why you really need to follow up with someone and work with a nutritional team to kind of get you in that sweet spot for each individual. Because if you have kidney disease, your numbers are probably going to be a little lower. If you are a very athletic build, and you might have higher needs. And then even those who have had complete changes in their composition. I know several people who are now bodybuilders post bariatric surgery, and so now they're completely different. Is because of the amount of work that they're doing now compared to before. So if they ate the same amount of protein that they did 2 weeks post-op, they would not be able to deposit that muscle mass like they're trying to. So that's a tough question to answer with a strict number, other than it's a dynamic thing. But on the ratio between 80 and 100 is where we like to start people at.
So it's one of those things where it could change week to week, month to month, depending on how active you are, what you're doing, what your goals are, and things like that. So there is no magic number out there that this is what you should be doing because of this.
Right. And there's a lot of people who say this is the textbook answer, but then you got to go back to the research. And unfortunately, when you go back to the research, it's not really based out of post-bariatric nutritional, like they didn't put post-bariatric patients into a room and do what do you call calorimetrics, basically measuring the temperature of the room and the basal energy expenditure of post-bariatric patients. They all did it for Army soldiers. who are 18 years old.
I always thought it was weird that my doctor told me I only need 68 to 80 ounces of protein when I'm 6'5".
Yeah, it goes based off of ideal body
Yeah.
weight. At 6'5", your ideal body weight is a lot different than my 5 foot patients.
So do you
But
find
we give
value in
emphasis to protein. I will say the one reason why protein takes so much precedence is because of the work it takes to actually, your body has to work to break it down and use it. So it helps kind of like dust all the cobwebs off and keep the total calories you're taking more at the neutral base and staying even for what you're expending. And that way you don't have excess calories. So that's the important thing.
so do you find value in those baseline numbers that they give us as a guide?
Yes, there's value to say that, you should take that and then do that at minimum. But there's always benefit to getting a little bit more tailored result. And so what we do in the office is we have an in-body body composition scanner that we've used. I mean, I've used it for many years in the past with the special operators, and when they have to go to austere environments, and we want to make sure that they have enough body fat on top of them to actually do the reverse. It's like, how do I put body fat on a soldier so that I can put him up in the Arctic for 6 months and I know that he's going to come back and still be healthy? And so with that, having that body composition, that's how you'll be able to fine tune it for you to figure out, okay, what is, the amount of fat that you have on your torso versus your right arm, left leg, right leg, and then visceral fat percentages. Those things are important because that tells you what is the fat that's actually on your muscle versus what's on your organs. And those help you identify truly where you're at. And then it gives you your dry weight. And your dry weight tells you how much true bone and muscle you have. And that's how you can really pick it apart and try and figure out what are your numbers and what's going to work best for you.
Hmm. I need to go back to
Yeah,
my doctor, tell him I need a body composition.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about someone who would be, or maybe considering having bariatric surgery, and their concerns with, the potential of weight regain and those stories that they may hear along the way. Is there something you can add on about weight regain and how that can actually happen?
So the way I look at weight regain is um, it was there to begin with. We're going to take it off. We're going to help take it off. And there's nothing to stop it from coming back. I can do the perfect sleeve. I could do the perfect bypass. But if the rest of your day is spent doing nothing and just ingesting calories, then it's bound to happen. But it is the entire process. It's nothing to be scared of, the weight regain. It's something that needs to be understood that this is a constant work in progress. This is never, an end destination. It is the journey. That's why we always talk about the journey, because you're not desiring to get to a certain goal weight, because if you get to that weight, what happens? You get complacent and then the weight number goes up. And then guess what? You're chasing that dream again. We got to get back to that weight. And so I would say not to be scared of it, just respect it and understand that no matter what surgery you do, if you're not going to put it into work, you're not going to get the results that you want or deserve.
Now, when it comes to weight regain and everything, one thing you always hear and people talk about is the pouch increasing in size. How likely is it that the pouch is going to increase, and how long does that take to happen? If I have two cheeseburgers this weekend, is my pouch going to all of a sudden bloom up because I'm eating badly, or is it something that happens over time?
It's something, so when we talk about pouches, that's typically for the bypass patients. And we also talk about sleeves and how the sleeve can stretch out. And realistically, can it stretch? Yes. The time frame that it stretches really depends on how much stress you're putting onto it. If you're overeating since day one, sure, it might happen faster than someone else. better the question is, does it have a direct correlation with weight regain? And the answer is we have not been able to prove that. We have not been able to prove that any increase or decrease in size of the pouch directly affects your amount of weight loss. Now, the size of your connection, which is different, the size of the connection of the pouch to the small intestine, that is related to the resistance that you feel when you have a bypass or Roux-en-Y. It's like that because then it can't empty into the small intestine as quickly. And so there you have the full feeling and you don't have the desire to actually have another bite. Now that can be affected when the pouch expands and also expands the connection. But again, there's no knowledge of what time frame that happens, and it's something that happens gradually over time. But classically, we don't associate increased pouch size with weight regain. It's more of that the comfort of the patient has reverted back to old habits and comfort foods or other things that are causing the metabolic system to not function as efficiently as it once did immediately after surgery.
Now, is there a way to, because I know you said that their connection may be too big or something like that. Is there a way to test for that to see? Because I know for me personally, ever since day one, I really never had any issues with eating food. I don't really, I joke with these guys all the time saying that I get to eat like a normal person. I don't have those full feelings. I'm not able to eat like I used to, but I still feel like it's not restricting like it should be.
So yes, there's ways that we can test it, and I do all my own endoscopies for that reason. So if I have patients like yourself who come in and they say like, "Hey, I've never felt any restriction," and so okay, that's kind of odd. You should have had some, even if it was for a short period of time. Then what we do is we do an endoscopy. You take us, you give some medication so they don't really care. They're out sleeping, and then we go in through the mouth and we take a look at the stomach, and we'll be able to see the size of the connection between the pouch and the small intestine. And if it's extremely large, and say, okay, that might be why there's no restriction there. And for those, we have measures where we can do endoscopic suturing, and I can put in a balloon that has a certain diameter, and then I can actually suture around and tighten it up so that it's down to a tighter little area. And that way, when you eat, it won't be able to spread that area open. It'll sit for a while, and it should give you that satiety and that restriction until it passes through that segment. And the same thing for a sleeve is the sleeve, if you're not feeling any restriction there, and usually you have to kind of ask yourself, well, maybe the sleeve was, made too big. And there are chances where, they just, for whatever reason, anatomically or just speed, created a sleeve that was too large. Usually we have a bougie or something that puts down and gives us a good size of what it should be. And sometimes people eyeball it. But yeah, the best thing to do is, talk to your surgeon and get an endoscopy, and they can take a look at that and see. But you should have felt some restriction in it because both procedures are classified as restricted procedures. The bypass being dual procedure where it's restrictive for the size of the gastric pouch and malabsorption for the reconnection of the intestinal tract and diversion of bile.
How often do you meet with patients who have experienced some type of weight gain and they struggle after, like, say, after they have a sleeve and they're not losing the weight that they want to lose and they're trying to lose the weight, but they're still struggling with that? How often is it a recommendation that you move over to, like, over to a bypass, or you try to, you go for, you try to fix it with another surgery?
So that's a very good question. I try not to fix it with another surgery. Um, we have to rule out all other causes first. It really depends on the time frame in which they just had their surgery. So if they're within 2 years of their surgery, it kind of gives me a little red flag. Say, okay, why? Like, was it just poor education? Some people just didn't get enough education beforehand, so they have no idea what to do diet wise. And so they're literally eating McDonald's every day, having milkshakes, and driving through the dumping syndrome and those. It's like, okay, we don't need another surgery. We need better understanding of your nutrition or those who get into depression and start turn to alcohol or other reasons. And then it's like we need psychology more than the actual surgery. For the cases of patients who actually do need surgery, we kind of see first want to take a look is with the sleeve that you talk about, if they have reflux, if they have severe reflux right now. And then also, what was the amount of weight that they lost? Because it just because they didn't hit their quote unquote goal weight doesn't mean that the sleeve was a failure. As if they've lost greater than 50% of their excess, you know, weight in the course of that 2 years, then technically it's a success. It just may not have been the proper surgery for the index surgery. Like if someone's 500 pounds and their ideal body weight is 150, it's like doing a sleeve on them may get you down, but definitely not down all the way where you would need to be. And the index procedure should have been something like either a bypass or a SADI or a BPD. And that's where we can talk to them and say, hey, let's consider going to another surgery because your first one probably wasn't the correct one. But first, we have to rule out the psychology, the nutrition, everything else to say, like, is surgery absolutely needed? Because sometimes it's not.
All right.
So we do have a question in the comments. They want to know, what do you like to do for fun? What do you do in your spare time?
My spare time is very little. I've got three little ones, and so when I am not working, I am spending time with family. I'm a family man. We have a family practice. My wife runs the office. Sometimes the little ones are, on days that they have teacher playing days, you might see my kids running around on the stools, pretending they're Superman running by. But but no, it's primarily family time, and then I do like to shoot, so I go shooting at the range and outdoor shooting. That's probably the two biggest.
Okay.
What is the statistics or maybe information you get from patients that come back after the weight loss? Do you ever ask them questions of like how do they continue to succeed in their journey?
Right. I don't really ask them. I mean, if they have been really successful, I ask them, hey, what are you doing? Like, and most of the ones, because it's like you're doing great. Like, what's your secret? What's new? But when you're seeing them so regularly, you kind of it's weird. You don't really you notice that they keep looking good, but you've been seeing them so much that you're growing with them. So I kind of already know what they're doing. But those who have like maybe lost a follow-up in a year or two and then they show back up and they're still successful, I don't really inquire about what they're doing. I just kind of reinforce whatever you're doing and you keep it up because you're doing great. There's no one secret for that works for everyone. I think everyone has to find their drive and they have to find their why. And I've had people do it because, they went through a divorce. I was like, that's kind of like, I'm not going to go out and say, hey, everybody go through a divorce. It's going to make you better. No, it's just like that's what she needed to be a catalyst for her to be better for her kids. And then all of a sudden is a new woman who comes in the clinic every day. And then, for the guy who, I remember him because he's got two daughters, like I talked about, and, he's been killing it. And it's because of his daughters, because that's been his goal. Like that was his why. He had a really strong why. And that's what fuels him every time.
Now, I don't know if this is something they track, but who knows? I'll ask this question anyways. Do you see a difference in the success rate between going from a big hospital, having the surgery done at a big hospital, and a bariatric center in like a small shop like you guys? Is there a difference
So I
in?
don't think there's any trend or data to say that one is better than the other. We all, because no matter if we haven't done, just to clarify, because you can do it at surgeries at major university centers or big hospitals, and maybe they're pumping out several hundred cases a year versus a smaller shop like ours, which may be doing 150, 200 cases a year. you know, the difference is we still submit all of our data. All of our data goes to the MBSA group, which is the American College of Surgeons. metabolic and bariatric quality improvement program. So the data that we collect is what was, the size of the patient, procedure they had, and then outcomes. And so that we can always go back and do retrospective studies, but they can't really break it apart to say, was this a private section or private surgeon, or was this a employed surgeon, a big hospital program or not? It would be, you'd have to pick those apart by, you know, individual centers doing their own individual studies and then comparing them. And they may exist, but I don't think it's kind of hit the mainstream of our literature to be really of any significance, because we look at the big data, and that metadata is saying that the biggest thing is not so much the weight, because we're not really looking at the weight. We're looking at safety measures, making sure that the procedure maintains its safety profile, but then also looking at you know, readmission rates and other things like that. Those are the things that we're looking at. And I would say, to answer that, it's the same, I would say, whether it's a big center or a small center. I think as you're going to see, it's pretty much the same. Now, I will say, the only thing that's been proven is that it does not matter how many times you follow up with a physician. That has not been directly related to long-term success. Long-term success has not been directly associated with the number of visits with either the hospital or the physician. It has been directly related to the number of visits with a nutritional team or multidisciplinary team. So post-operative, that's why we make ourselves completely available post-operative to all our patients. And I employ the dietitian in our office so that, she doesn't have to go through insurance for our patients. Like, it's a small little fee. It's like almost like a copay, because she's getting a salary from me. That way she can maintain her availability for the patients.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How important do you think long-term follow-up care is after bariatric surgery? Because a lot of us that don't go to the surgical centers, we've gone to the hospitals. We get the 3, 6, and 1 year, post-op checkup, follow-up, and then that's it. Someone like myself, I'm 19 months post-op, and I'm like, trying to still adapt and still trying to, to stay informed and learn. I'm still trying to learn this new body, this new lifestyle, So if you could touch on that, that'd be awesome.
So I think it's very important. And it's important for two ways. Both so that you can educate your surgeon, and so that your surgeon can educate you. Because the education goes both ways, because you might be dealing with something that is unique to you that they've never experienced before. And so you would be able to educate them on your post-op visits on how you're navigating those waters, so that the next time they have that patient who's navigating something similar, they're more educated now to inform that patient, hey, I had another patient who went to something very similar like this. They did this, it worked out great for them. Or they did this and it was a disaster. So stay away from that. So it goes both ways. And that's the partnership that I wanted to create with my patients, is say, like, if you're taking the risk and you're allowing me to do something to help you along your journey, this is like, help me along with your journey. Let me learn from you just as much as you're going to learn from me. And so, there's the medical side of it, which is going to say, yes, you need to have the follow up just to make sure that you're not becoming anemic, or that you're not losing on vitamins or minerals that you might be deficient in. Because it happens. It could be a marginal ulcer growing that, you didn't realize, and you don't want it to hit you real soon, especially if you could avoid it by checking some basic labs. But, that's the medical side of it. But on top of that, I would say that also, the constant learning and knowing that you have support, because if your physician understands what you went through, knows exactly what happened, and he understands that the trials that you're going through on a, not a monthly basis, but even just a semi-annual basis, they're going to have more education about how to help you. Because when they go to a conference and they learn about some new medication, hey, maybe that'll help. Or they'll learn about it, some new treatment program. Maybe that'll help my patient because they've been staying in tune with you.
Okay. So we're up against the hour right now. It's we got about 10 minutes left, and all the information you've given us has been great. There is one thing that I would like to touch base with you, only because we are going to have the opportunity to meet you in April, in St. Louis. So I'm excited about that to get a chance to actually meet you in person and talk with you. You are actually a sponsor for the JBY Awards. Can you explain how that came about and how you met the girls from OSLP?
Oh, that's an easy one. That was my wife. Macy is she's basically the rock of our office, and everyone loves her because she loves to stay in the background and not be seen. But I constantly force her out. Um, so Mel and Kel, we actually reached out to them several years back, and we were just on social media taking a look around, like yourselves, seeing different platforms coming up, and they were one of the first ones that we saw, and started reviewing some of their content, and I really love their message of like getting rid of the stigma. And I says like that actually resonated with me because it's absolutely asinine for people to think that this is the easy way out or this is the cheating method, and this is like total BS. So, trying to maintain the professionalism. It's just like I can't get on TikTok and be like, hey, they're full of, whatever. But um, we sent him a message out of the blue and just like, hey, we really love your message. Anything we can do to support you, let us know. And they actually wrote back and said, like, hey, thank you so much. Thanks for following. And they came back to us and said, hey, we really thought about doing this, uh, award bariatric award ceremony. And it's just like, okay, well, tell me more about it. And it's just like, well, imagine like the Academy Awards, except for bariatric patients. Like, oh, I'm in. I'm sold. I'm there. I love it. And so from the first one in Portland, we flew from Florida across the country, flew to Portland. We did a day detour and went to the Goonies house. That was a nice little trip. But then one of my favorite movies. But then we go to the JBY, and it was just electric because I know that I always wanted to have the gala for my patients, but wasn't in a position to do so. But when I got to see them do it in Portland, it was beautiful to see that many people dressed to the hilt, so much sequence and glitter. It was amazing. Um, and then after that, we just realized, okay, this we need to kind of continue. And so then the next year it was in DC. So they came to us for assistance, and we said absolutely. And the bariatric community is pretty small for surgeons. So Dr. Eric Smith is, we've brushed shoulders at ASMBS meetings, but then also other meetings that we do for the bariatric community. And so when he was involved too, we're like, oh, absolutely, we'll, kind of all participate how we can. Um, yeah, so now I get to be there and as nominated for what top bariatric surgeon and bariatric advocate. So we'll see how it goes.
Look at that.
But
We're all of us on panel and nominated. That's
I
great.
know,
Look at
a
that.
Now,
Look.
little nervous.
now,
Why
you,
Last year was it was tough. I actually just got over the flu, or actually I think I still had the flu when I got up on stage and had to present. So I exited stage left pretty quickly. I was under the weather, but this year I promise I'll be a little bit more lively.
now, do you want to, when you get onto the pink carpet, are you going to be one of the guys that just like is dressed to the hilt and going to walk with some swag and like be in the moment?
Because my personal opinion is that it is not about me. Like this event is completely about you guys. It's about the bariatric community. I am if you think about it, I am such a small player in all this. It's like I did a 35 to 45-minute surgery, but you've put in the hours and days and months and years of hard work. And this is like my goal is not to take any of that away from anyone.
That's
now,
awesome.
do you think events like these are important for people to attend and help in their recovery, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, it's so funny because even I think last year was it one or two? I think we paid for one or two people to actually attend. two people. And because we think it's very important for people to attend these, because you have to learn how to celebrate yourself. And it's very easy to kind of get in your own little cave and say, like, hey, yeah, I had this done, but it's not going so well. But it's so easy to be negative. It's so easy to downplay all your successes and just say, hey, but when you go to an event like this and everyone will celebrate everything, every minor thing with you, um, it's hard not to get into that positivity. It's hard not to let it leach into you, and every single body needs that.
Now, question: if someone watching the audience right now wants to find you, talk to you, have surgery with you, how could someone go about finding you? One and two, if someone did have a surgery somewhere else, is it possible to talk to you about potentially meeting with your nutritionist and things like that for people that don't have an opportunity to have a nutritionist with the bigger facilities?
Yeah, absolutely. Most people, I think, can go online and they can check out our webpage to get a lot of information for us. That's sabpweightloss.com. And majority of there, they'll have the contact information to call the office, and anyone is free to call the office. We don't take any patients who are within 1 year of their surgery from another physician. We're happy to see you, but we won't. I will be completely honest with them, as we probably won't schedule you for any surgery because it's kind of a professional courtesy that within the first year you stay with your initial, unless it's like, hey, my surgeon passed away or he retired or something like that. So okay, fine. But as a courtesy, within 1 year, we try to keep you with your primary surgeon. But anyone else is free to talk to our staff, free to talk to the nutritionist, and come in and see what we're about, see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, then we can always kind of point in directions that might be helpful. And our job is to help, and that's all we want to do.
Is there anywhere people can find you on social media?
Social media. So we are on Facebook and Instagram. We don't have TikTok, and I think the handle on Instagram is SABP underscore weight loss.
All right.
And I think if you look up SABP weight loss for Facebook, it's the same.
Okay.
Or it could be under SABP stands for Surgical Associates of Bayonet Point. That's where it all started, and we just abbreviated because that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Well,
we
we just want
appreciate.
to.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rav.
Nah, you got it, Tony.
No, I'm gonna say, we just want to say thank you very much for
Yeah.
joining us tonight. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate all the great information that you were able to give everyone tonight. It's not often we get to have a medical professional up here with us, and give them, and give everyone, that information. Because again, with maybe the exception of Corby, besides being the professional on the platform with us, the rest of us, we're just sharing our journeys.
Yeah.
And it's always great to hear, another perspective and a professional perspective.
Appreciate you guys having me, and I think I want to commend you guys for doing what you do, because like I said, it's platforms like yours that actually start shortening that time frame for the courage to build up, and especially with the male population. The male population, we tend to be stronger of mind than we are of body sometimes, and we be stubborn. And so we think we can fix ourselves better than anyone else can help fix us, nor do we ever need help. But it's important to understand that, the sooner you get the help, the sooner you can be the newer version of you, the better version of you. And that doesn't mean weight loss. It just means all around better version until you start asking for the help.
Yeah. All right, well, that's great. So we're gonna allow you to drop down. I just have something I need to share with everyone before we sign off for the night. So again, thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in April in St. Louis.
Right. It's going to be a blast.
Thank you, Dr. Fridley.
Thank you, Dr.
All right,
Fridley.
guys. Have a good day.
You
Have
too.
a good one. All right. All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. It was great to have Dr. Fridley. There is an announcement that I would like to make Moving forward, I will be stepping down off the platform um, for a not forever. Um, I'm going to be stepping away from the platform. I am currently in my part of this journey. I am struggling. Um, I think that I have been in a bit of denial for the past probably maybe 3 months or so. I've been pretty honest about like where I've been, where I've struggled with, especially when I hit my wall somewhere last summer. As far as things have been going, I've experienced weight gain, I've experienced challenges with everything around, in my life. Um, Transitioning back to the hospital and everything, there are still things that I am dealing with that I have not addressed. Especially because I haven't seen any of my doctors in probably close to a year now because of all the issues I've had with like insurance and just the change in venue. And um, now that I'm back at the hospital, I have made appointments to meet with my bariatric team and start to fix the things that I have fallen off track with. Um, Especially with my mental health, it has really taken a toll. Um, and being on here every week is a joy for me, but I am not at my best. And if I am not at my best, I can't be my best for the rest of you. So, with the support of the guys here and Shar, um, we've talked about it, and in my best interest for me to be the best for you guys, I'm going to take a short break from the platform. I'll still be in the background. You'll probably see me pop up on a Pro Kid video here and there, but I'm gonna work on myself and hopefully, you know, I can get through this sooner than longer. But however long it takes, I think that my mental health, my physical health, just pouring into myself is probably the most important thing for me to do. And you guys will still see me. I'll still post my water video. I'll still post my stair video. Those are my accountability videos. But I didn't want you guys to think that something happened when I stopped showing up here every week. But I figured it would be better to hear it from me than just to have rumors flying around here. So, but I just want to thank the three gentlemen up here with me. I want to thank Shar down in the comments. I appreciate the support from you guys, and I'm not gone, so I'll still be around the community. Maybe not as much because I'll be concentrating on myself, but um, there'll still be somewhat of a presence there. So, but I just wanted to thank you guys up here, and I appreciate all the support.
No problem, buddy.
We got you, man.
All right, thank you.
Get yourself better so you can get back up here.
I'll keep my seat warm for me.
Will do, man.
All right. So I will allow you guys to sign off tonight.
Yeah. So, in the words of the late great Don Cornelius, peace.
E, your love now.
Oh, love.
So we'll
All
work
right,
on
y'all. Thanks,
it.
y'all.
Have a good night,
Peace.
guys.
Yeah.